Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager, Season 6, Episode 9, Voyager Conspiracy. God, this one was rough. Like, I don't know, if you guys are ever like, look at what episode should I watch? This would be a skip one. Like, it was so hard. So, basically, I'm going to boil it way down, because that's what I do with the episodes I don't like, where Seven has decided to reprogram her alcove so that she gets a lot of information all at one time, and she's able to analyze it rather than being inefficient and reading through it. And sure enough, her first test run is a success, where she realizes that there are fleas in one of the processors because Neelix did a trade and then Harry was working on this and blah blah blah. And sure enough, when they go there are fleas in there, so they're like, oh wow, this is actually a success. And slowly, Voyager has come across this alien who has a catapult that he's trying to use to like throw himself across the galaxy. And this is where this episode just instantly lost me, where Seven is like, this is all a conspiracy. Like, Janeway was working with the caretaker because she finds evidence that there was another ship that was using a tractor beam, and it was a Cardassian vessel, and so she talks to Neelix about Kess, and which is one of the few times Kess is brought up. And all this other stuff about how Janeway is working with Starfleet, who is working with the Cardassians, who is working with the caretaker to purposely set up a military existence here in the Delta Quadrant. And Chakotay's like, what are you talking about? And sure enough, then she talks to Janeway about how this is a big Maquis conspiracy and how they were all part of it. And it basically just boils down to her, she was overloaded and she can't process all of this information. And so by the time this episode was over, I was so thankful, because I just could not get into this one. And once again, they do these jumps where they use the catapult, and Janeway's like, hey, we just cut 3 years off of our mission. And it's like, what are you talking about? Every other episode, they're cutting years off. And I feel like the writers were just like, we got to get them home by the end of this. How can we get them as close as possible? And I'm just done with it by this point. I'm so sick of it. I don't know. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. So even in the title for this one, I'm like, okay, so she's pitting the entire crew against each other. And I can't get into it. I couldn't get behind it. For those who have seen this one, what did you guys think? Go ahead, let me know, and I will see you guys next time for Pathfinder.